Welcome back to the Thrifty Suburbanite channel. What I'm going to work on now is mounting a snowplow on the front of the Kioti CS 2520. I looked around online and the typical tool manufacturers for these units did make these things, but the price is a little bit out of my ballpark. I didn't want to pay that much for it. So in true Thrifty Suburbanite fashion, I decided I'm going to put one together. First step was to locate a blade. Looked on Marketplace, Craigslist. I finally found one on Craigslist, believe it or not. It's the first thing I bought from Craigslist for a long time. About an hour and a half away. This was on the front of a UTV. The guy definitely ran it a bit. The springs are tweaked out and a couple other tweaks here and there. But the winter's getting warmer and he didn't want it hanging around anymore. So it was out in the yard. It was an eyesight, so it's mine for $50. The cheapest one I could find. The other ones that people wanted $200, $250, up to $400 for one of these blades. It's not in bad shape, and it's a little bit light. I'm gonna have to see maybe about reinforcing it, and it's a little bit short. One thing I did buy is a big piece of rubber. I'm gonna cut down. It's part of a conveyor belt, and I can put that on the top to roll the snow because it's a little bit short. Okay, so I went to the local metal manufacturer or metal distributor that I have in this area, and I got some stuff. 3x3 angle iron, a couple scrap pieces of 3/16, I don't even know what that is, 2-inch, some bushings, I guess you would call these, and a couple 5/8 bolts. This is what I think I'm going to use to put it together. And here's how I'm going to do it. These are going to have to be cut in half because I need it a little bit lower than this. And it's going to fit down in that 3x3 bracket. But these will welded to that, one on each side. And in the center down below here, where this blade's going to pivot up and down, I'm going to weld these bushings in between there. And cut the threads off of this bolt and use that for the pivot bolt. Might be hard to envision right now, but that's my plan. So here's our frame for the snowplow. Gonna have to be cut. It's too long. I can't have that much hanging out in front of the plate because it's going to give it too much flex, I believe. So I want to cut it back shorter. And what I'm going to do before I cut it is to drill some holes in here on the correct angle, and then eventually bring it up to this size here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld this right in there, and hopefully that round edge on both ends is going to give me a little bit more support when I weld. It's all up here. No plans. We'll see how it works. Had to break out Old Faithful Black & Decker 3/8-inch impact. I haven't used this thing for years. Well, I got through the top, but I can't get around the back to drill it from the back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this off in the back a little bit longer than I want it, and maybe that'll allow me a little bit more of an angle to get in there with the drill. I got the holes drilled through. I got the extra length of the push bars cut off. I ended up drilling the one side through, and then because the drill wouldn't allow me to come back from the other side, I just got the hole kind of scribed on the other side, just used the grinder and massaged it down, and here we go. I made this little arrangement here to figure out how it's going to hook up. Here's the two bushings that are going to be welded in here. This is the approximate spread that I want, and there's a piece of threaded rod holding the whole thing together. So these are going to go basically in here. This jig allowed me to get my distance here. I assume this was made in a jig. It was a factory mount, so I'm going by the fact that this is square. Don't know if it really is or not. It's only a snowplow, so we're not going to go crazy. It's got play in it anyway from where the latch locks in, so it's never going to be totally straight. So Next step is going to be to weld these bushings in here. Now that I've welded these on the end, we'll get a better idea how this mounting system is going to work for me here. Here's my angle iron frame. I'm going to put one on each side here. Going to have a bolt that goes through. I'm going to cut the threads off, of course, and I'm going to have a pin that holds it. Going to have a hole somewhere in the middle here. Now this frame that's going to be on the front of the tractor, on the skid steer attachment, is going to be bolted on. Not sure if I'm going to need the skid steer attachment for something else or whatever. I want possibly use the debris forks with it, the Titan debris forks. Not really sure at this point. What I'm going to do is set this up for welding, get it all centered. Oh, this goes on the outside. Get it all centered up, clamped in, and put some beads here. I'm putting these small bushings inside for a couple reasons. First, I just think it's the right thing to do. And second, if I lose some clearance in here because of welding, the metal warps or whatever, I can pop those out and still be good to go. Alright, now we got the welding done. Got a spray paint on there, got the pins back in it. Put that aside for a minute. When I first got this plow, a couple of things that worried me were, first, this mounting point here, which is just a small bolt, and as you can see, a lot of play. It's all wallowed out because of hitting things and the vibration and just wear over the years. So, I need to figure out something to do with this. Those bolts aren't going to do it. First thought I had when I came across this was, take this flat bushing I get, weld it on around here, and take a piece of this 1/4 inch, cut it down narrower, and bring it out to there. That way this is bracketed on both sides, and the bolt has more space to kind of get support in there. Oh, this has got to go here. I was wondering why it didn't work anymore. And that's going to leave me about a 1/16 of an inch for play between the frames. And it's going to box it in on both sides. It's going to be like a fork. Instead of just off balance by one side, you're pushing that way. Now you got a fork and you're pushing both ways against the bolt. I think that'll work. I rebuilt both of the skids. Welded new bolts on. Well, I'm going to call this project done for now. Painted, paint's dried, it's outside, all put together, ready to go. A couple snow flurries here and there today, but we're only supposed to get between 1 and 3 inches. I had this wooden block behind the blade and the skid steer plate, because when you put it down flat, the chain doesn't really hold anything up. You have to jam that in there to keep the blade from the plate collapsing together. There's no support. Painted up, dry, ready to go. Well, now all we need is snow. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thrifty Suburbanite signing off.